All right, welcome to part 3 of this video series. This is looking at our Octoprint connection. This is how you actually get your file to print. So if you have not watched the first few videos, the first video is going to go through Inventor and how to change your part file into a STL file. Part 2 goes into understanding the Cura software with the most important aspect of it is to get it from an STL file to what's called a G-code file. And you see some examples of that on the screen here. Finally, here's part 3. We're looking at Octoprint. So Octoprint is our web-based server that allows us to do our printing through our Raspberry Pi connection that was set up here at FEL. This is something that you do have to be on campus to use, so you can't do this from home, but very neat little program that we're able to use. Now each printer has its own site, so you have Octoprint, FELHS.org, and then you have Octoprint2, FELHS.org, right? And you get there. And so when you get here, the first thing you're going to have to do, or you're going to want to do, is log in, and you'll be able to get that username and password from the teacher. All right. Okay, so I logged myself in, so now I have the ability to actually upload files, different things like that. We'll get to that in just a minute. Big things here is our little tabs up here, understanding what's going on. Temperature is going to be the biggest one. Understanding how to change the temperature. When you're on Octoprint, I'm going to call it Octoprint 1 even though it doesn't have a 1. The cool part is you can go down to your HIPS settings and it's already pre-made. If you're in Octoprint 2, that setting's not there, but if you remember 240 for your high temperature, right? So the top is the tool or the extruder itself, and then the bed is 100 degrees down here. So those are two numbers to keep in mind if you're not doing that. So hopefully we can get that installed on the other site as well. From there, you can look at other tabs to understand. You have the control tab, shows you a little video of the actual 3D printer, the bed, what it looks like, all that fun stuff. And then all of these menus help you move the extruder tool up and down, left and right. This would be useful if you want to change filaments, if you want to, if you have to pause it for some reason and then restart it. Different things like that are going to be things that are going on that you might need to use. But for the most part, if you ever need to do something like this, just have a teacher with you to walk you through it once again, because you're not going to be using this very often. This is also someplace you're going to go, like if your print fails and it like falls over or it comes off the bed, you're going to have to cancel your print and then come here and manipulate the tool that way, right? If that happens to be the case, right? G-code viewer, so once you have a file loaded up, I'll come back to that one. So here's some code. Most of you will leave that completely alone. And then there's an option that, since we do have video on this, you can actually record the whole thing, save it, and then create a time-lapse video of it as you're going on. Now this is a pretty large file because you're going to take a long time to print this, but if that's something that might interest you in the future, you could learn how to use that as well. The biggest things though are you're going to be using the temperature and the control and the G-code viewer. So let's upload a file to get this working. So once you're signed in, you have the ability to upload files. And so you just click upload, go to your area wherever you created your files, and then you can upload one of those files. So here's the one we were working on in previous videos. So it's going to upload. All right. So if this pop-up comes up, you're gonna have to click slice. Not sure why that one came up. Maybe I accidentally clicked the STL instead of the G code. That's why. I clicked the STL file instead of the G code file. Let me pause the video and I'll come back to this and get a G code file, since right now it has to slice it, which so it turned it into G code for me now. So not really it takes a little bit longer. We've already done that step, so we don't really need to do that. Okay, so we uploaded that crank bushing 2. We sliced it, but you're going to notice that I went to the G code viewer up here and scrolled over, and this is what's going to print, this tiny little red dot, which of course is not good. Uploading our G code, I got to get to the right place. All right, so I got lots of G code over here that I upload. So I'm going to upload this one. So here we go. So now I'm going to choose this one, and it's going to analyze it. There we go. Much, much better. All right, so we got a nice bushing there, ready to go. So this is showing you your layers. You can see how it's going to print if you really just want to see it step by step by step as it increases and grows and different things like that. So that's what the viewer enables you to do. Okay, now once you upload a file, it's going to appear in this section right here. The biggest thing you got to remember is that you got to make sure that it actually has your file up here before you click print, because if it's just down here, it's just loaded up to Octoprint. It's not actually loaded as the object that's going to be printed. So if I choose a different file, right, you see how the name changes up here. So you got to make sure the file you want is actually up here. Right? Now at this point, you want to double check the control, make sure no one else has a print on there. If someone else has a print on there going, you won't be able to use it. If someone else has one there, it's not gonna work. So that's what that feed is for. Okay, if nothing is there, right, ours is blank, then we're going to set our temperatures. Right, we use hips, so we would use hips on both of these. And once you do that, you'll see these bars start to come up. That means the temperature is on. It's going to start turning on. And then you can go ahead and click print to get that going. And I'm going to go ahead and print one of these because we can. All right. But I'm actually going to cancel the print in just a minute. If we were to go here, what we would start to see is some motion as it's loading everything up and thinking about everything as we're going through it all. You start to see motion with the bed and the extruder. It takes about 7 minutes or so, give or take, to get it all calibrated before it actually starts printing. But usually that's built into the print time here. Right? You're going to watch the temperatures rise. That's going to have to happen before anything can happen. So you can see the bed temperatures here, right, like that, and working with everything that's going on. Now, for the most part, if you have a pretty stable print, you're not going to really have too many issues unless something goes wrong with the extruder. But if there is a problem, that's where the cancel button or the pause button is going to become important. So if I will show you examples of misprints that I have already, and so you can see those. But if it ever gets started and things aren't working, so here you see some motion, things are getting started now. You can always cancel it and reset your print like that. All right, I think this video is long enough. Troubleshooting this program is going to be important, but I'm going to cancel this print as your last thing to view. So to cancel the print, you just click cancel, click yes, and then most likely you have to go to the control, and it's still going through the phase of prepping. you're going to notice that the temperatures automatically go to off, so they'll start cooling on their own. But then you can go in here, and I like to press this button. That's going to put this back up high so it's out of the way for the next user to see, and you can then go and manipulate your model. If you need to move the bed, you can move the bed using these controls. Alright, like I said, this video is long enough. There's plenty of other things we could troubleshoot, and we can deal with those later. Alright. Okay, that's going to get you through the basics of 3D printing. There are a couple other things we can talk about, but we can talk about those things during class time.